Yay! Welcome to Rock Painting Workshops. I'm glad you found us. Today we will be creating a flamingo on our colouring in rock, and right now I'm just going to sketch the flamingo onto the rock, and I'm using shapes. If you have a look here, it could be half a circle, half an oval probably, and I'm just drawing some simple shapes in line to create my flamingo. So that was the body, is the half circle, some stick legs, and I'm just drawing a round head here and joining it up with some curves into a neckline, like skinny like a flamingo, hooking it out into the beak. So I'm just using a regular graphite mechanical pencil, and all these lines don't matter that we're sketching out because we will be erasing them, so you can just keep sketching in where you think you want everything to go on your rock. So I want to add some little flowers down the bottom, might pop one out the other side as well. Now just have a look, see, and if you agree that it looks balanced, you're ready to go ahead, grab your fine line acrylic paint pen, and we're just going to start doing the outlines for the colouring in book look. And this is, like I've said in some other videos, this is the lines that you see created in a kid's colouring in book. It's all the black lines ready to colour in, and this is a really simple process to create your rocks with. And I've just realised I didn't really want that whole black line, but that's okay. I'll show you how to paint over that later. So I'm just creating all the lines in place with my black pen. Always easier to just use it at a little bit of an angle. You can actually see my finger is sitting underneath the rock just to angle it up a bit easier for the pen to work. So there we go. We've got our flamingo. Just get this rock back into position. We've got the flamingo on the rock, and now that the paint's dry, and it only takes a minute or two, we need to erase all the graphite pencil off the rock. So I've got a polymer eraser here, and I'm just going to take away all the graphite so we don't see it and it doesn't dirty up the paint. Now we're ready for colour. Okay, so I'm just going to start with the pink, and see where I said before I didn't want that line, so I've just coloured straight over that with my pink. And that's the joy of acrylic paint. It's what's called layerable, and you can put the next colour on top, and because it's opaque, it will just hide what's underneath it. Of course, black being the hardest to hide, so it might take a layer or two to cover over the black lines. But here I'm just applying a nice thin layer of acrylic paint pen. If you don't use acrylic paint pens, you can just use straight acrylic paint. Same thing, you don't want to go too thick, you're just at this point creating a nice thin layer on the rock, and it might not quite come out so even, because depending on how porous the rock is to how much of that paint, it might soak it in a little bit. Don't worry, that's a good thing. What all we'll do is we'll go over the rock later on with a second layer of colour. So really on most of my rocks I just have two thin layers of colour. Okay, just add some darker pink here for the wing. And in particular, this style of rock that I'm using for this series of videos is it's actually not a very porous rock. The colour just sits on top in that first layer a little bit. I'm going to add some pink onto the flowers here, and I'm not filling it all in because I'm about to come and get my lighter pink as well and add that. Now while the paint here that I just showed you is still wet, I'm just adding in the light pink as well, and because both pink paints are wet, they're bleeding into each other, so it just doing all the blending work for us. It's just blending in the nice two of the colours really nicely. If you look closely, you can see the bleed happening. Just pop some green here for the leaf. I don't know about this rock, I probably won't do any shading and just show you the simple colour in lines. Yeah, so this is 2 coats of paint here, and once I've got the 2 coats and the colour is dry, I'm going to take the black pen and I'm just going to go around the outside, and this now is my final outline. It's a little bit thicker there. I've got some bumps in the rock, I don't worry about it. Just keep going. Okay, pop this eye in there. Go over its beak. So I'm just putting all the lines in place. There won't be any bleeding on this one because all the colours are dry. All the pinks in the flowers are now dry, so I can go straight over top of them. Okay, make some swirly lines there for the flowers. Pop that stem in. And the curve of his wing there, over that darker colour. Okay, I'm going to show you here. Just going to thicken up that line and make the outside of that black line really even, because I'm going to bring the pink in and I'm going to thin it down from the inside in a minute. So we'll add some white highlights here into the flowers and the wings, and this is just where you think the light will be reflecting on your image. Add some interest to the picture that you're painting. Just add some white there, see if that works. Yeah, still not really happy with that really thick black line. So now that I know that it's dry, I'm just going to grab my pink again and I'm just going to paint back over it, and this just thins the black line down, and we've got some more pink happening there, so it's just not as thick looking. But this is a really easy method to do. Could have waited for the black to dry just a little bit more, so we'll see what happens. I'm just adding little pink hearts around the place to decorate it. This rock's going to be one that I hide in my community, so it'll be a drop rock. And I like to create nice simple rocks like this just to share with my community. Sometimes I leave them outside the school, the kids love finding them. Okay, we'll just go back over that black line again, making the pink a lot more solid and thinning down that black line. It's really easy to do, and when it dries it all comes up perfect in colour. So that's it. Let's see your flamingos. Come over to our Facebook page at Reef Rocks Free Workshops. We would absolutely love to see your rocks.